What is going on, my mixed martial artists? We are back with another video. Today, we are talking some big news in the MMA world. PFL and MVP have merged to create one organization. We're also going to be talking a little UFC Serbia, PFL Long Island, a lot of stuff on this week. For anybody who might have missed it, I did a little Octagon video the other day. It's pretty good one. Had an interview with David Zavada in there, who's fighting David Kozma on the card this weekend. So really just a stacked weekend of MMA, to be honest. But before we jump into any of that, once again, if you guys could drop a like and subscribe, maybe even drop a comment, that would mean the world to me. Trying to obviously build this channel a bit. I feel like I have a lot of good info to share, a lot of good stuff, which, yeah, again, I appreciate all you guys for watching, and let's jump right in. So off the top, for anybody who may have seen this morning, massive news from Most Valuable Promotions and the Professional Fighters League. I was actually debating on wearing my PFL shirt today for the video or my MVP shirt. I opted for the MVP shirt because that's the name they most likely will be taking on at the end of the year. But let's just break down the news real quick. Off the top, announced Thursday, July 30th, which is today, PFL and MVP will be merging operations. This is big news because obviously those are kind of the two most notable promotions in the United States outside of the UFC, obviously. There had been some rumors about PFL, looking to do some, acquisition, merging. There's obviously been a lot of, co-promotion they've been doing with Ryzen. They had two fighters come over for their Belgium card, and then they are sending AJ McKee over to fight for the title against Khaballaev coming up, which is really exciting. So I think the PFL, John Martin, first of all, I want to give John Martin all the credit here. Ever since Don Davis left as the head of the PFL, John Martin's taken over, and he's really just done a fantastic job. The signings have been great. The cards have been good. The business moves have been great. He's really doing a great job. So I just want to give full credit and prop to John Martin for the PFL. We'd heard some rumors about potentially them, merging with some other organizations, working, things like that. I was there at the MVP MMA 1 in LA on May 16th, the Rousey versus Carano card. I had the opportunity to cover it. There's my credentials right there. Yeah, and I actually had a chance to talk to Nikisa Bedarian there about, potential working with MVP or with PFL, and he was very open to the idea even back then. So I think this has been something that has kind of been in the works. As we know, Jake Paul was actually signed at the PFL for a long time. He was potentially gonna do an MMA debut there. I doubt that's gonna happen at this point. But yeah, I mean, the real reasoning behind this is MVP and PFL both have things that the other one wants and they don't have. So essentially with the PFL, they have a really good roster, 300 plus fighters, a lot of, high ranking fighters, a lot of fighters that could go to the UFC, have a lot of success, could fight for other promotions around the world. And honestly, with their regional shows with PFL Africa, PFL MENA, PFL Europe, they've really built a nice, global kind of league that can funnel in some talent. We saw Eliezer Kubanza this past weekend choke out Chris Mixon in a really impressive fight, along with Nkosi Ndebele, who beat Brandon Davis. Those are two products of PFL Africa coming through to the main show. And then for MVP, they have this link with Netflix. They have, a massive platform to broadcast on. They got almost 20 million views in their event this last time. And obviously, I'm not going to act like they're going to get those views again using the PFL roster. But what they can do is they can leverage that platform. They can probably have a little bit more capital to sign fighters, to promote events. And because, I mean, I hate to say it, but Jake Paul is a big name, with him kind of on the promotional side, and obviously Nikisa Bedarian doing the real heavy lifting. They've got a good organization here. Some people who really know how to promote, know how to run the fight business, and can hopefully start to really make some waves and changes in the MMA business. In regards to Netflix and how they're going to be kind of working this, they look for premium live events, things like the Rousey Carano card, Tyson versus Paul. When they were originally in negotiations for the UFC deal, they were interested in not really doing a ton except for 4 events a year, flagship cards, kind of really big events that would draw in a large viewer base. So I don't expect the PFL to be airing consistently on Netflix. I think if they can put together these big cards, it's going to be great opportunity to kind of prop those up on the big platform. But again, MVP, they have deals with ESPN, they have deals with TikTok, they have deals with, you know, I think DAZN here and there. So like they have a wide range of options to stream through, and the PFL has been on ESPN, but ESPN has just not given them anything to work with. Really poor promotion on their part. I mean, they were literally showing breakdancing during the fucking card the other night. So, you know, it is what it is. But the biggest thing here that I want to talk about is the need for competition in the MMA space. We always hear people talk about, oh, we need a fighters union. Oh, fighters need to be considered employees, you know, things like that. And of course, those are wonderful things. And I think the unionization of any labor is good. But at the end of the day, you've got to understand what is actually happening here in fighting. There's this court case that I quote all the time when I'm talking to people about it, but it's called Gross v. Three Rivers. And this relates more to the employment status as opposed to the actual, you know, the other stuff. But Gross v. Three Rivers is a court case that happened in the 90s of Three Rivers, which was a casino/hotel up in upstate New York. And Gross, he was a boxer. He fought, I think, 12 times for the promotion, main evented several times. It was consistent. He was, you know, kind of one of the local draws. He passed away after his 12th boxing match. You know, just suffered head injuries, I think some internal bleeding, you know, things like that. Kind of, unfortunately, par for the course for boxing. And when he passed, his family sued the casino and hotel for workers' compensation because he died on the job. A judge actually ruled, though, that they cannot receive workers' compensation because he was in a profession in which the goal of that profession was to deliver as much bodily harm to your opponent as possible. So if the judge had ruled that workers' compensation was okay, then that means it would open the floodgates for basically every single fighter to ever fight to file for workers' comp to their owner or to the promotion. And in that regards, no promotion could ever succeed. I mean, the insurance companies would be completely fucked. The businesses would have no money to promote shows. So it's like one of these things. It's like, yes, we should have these protections and for fighters, but the whole system just wouldn't function under the way that our, you know, legal and system works. So again, that's kind of one of those reasons we're never going to have fighters as employees. But the big issue is exclusive contracts. And I'm going to do a whole video. I've kind of been just trying to gather up all the information I can. I'm going to do a video on the UFC antitrust cases. There's a really big one, Phil Davis v. v. Zuffa right now, where Phil Davis is basically seeking injunctive relief, which would limit MMA contracts to 365 days, and then it would be open free agency after that time. Because right now the UFC controls when they can release guys, who wants to sign with them, when, you know, other promotions can basically negotiate. So it would create a true MMA free agency. And for independent contractors, that's what they need. They need bidding wars. They need people driving up the price, because even if all these fighters chose to stay with the UFC, what it would do is it would allow other promotions like MVP PFL to basically bid and drive up the price. So the UFC would have to spend more to keep these fighters on their roster. So again, there's a lot of stuff that needs to change. There are things that kind of are changing. There's things that probably won't change that we need to change. But at the end of the day, just really big and important news. Like I said, I mean, I think that this is one of the best things for the sport. Promotions need to stop treating it like a full competition and realize it is the UFC versus literally everybody else. And the more they can work together, the more they can support each other, prop each other up, you know, create this ecosystem of MMA and combat sports, as opposed to these walled gardens in which nobody can leave and nobody can come in without giving up their rights. That's going to be really what, you know, improves the sport and improves opportunities for athletes. But as I mentioned before, I believe the PFL at the end of the year will be taking on the MVP name, which I don't know. I mean, they were, you know, Bellator and PFL and World Series of Fighting. They've gone through a lot of iterations, so that's kind of not quite as important news to me. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, good stuff. I'm excited to see what happens next. On that note, we have a PFL card this weekend. Usman Nurmagomedov taking on Archie Colgan in Long Island. Let me actually just go from my PFL Nurmagomedov versus Colgan. There we go. Okay. Now that we got that up, let me add this to the screen. Hit minimize. Beautiful. And there it is. This weekend on Friday, we've got a nice little weekend of fights, again, as I was mentioning. But off the top, we have Usman Nurmagomedov taking on Archie Colgan. Really, really good fight. The champion taking on the number 3 fighter in the PFL lightweight rankings. Archie Colgan, former, elite level collegiate wrestler, cut his teeth for Bellator. Really got the nice build for Bellator. And he's coming in to hopefully upset the major favorite, Usman Nurmagomedov, who's obviously the cousin of Khabib, widely regarded as kind of the best Nurmagomedov aside from Khabib. He is just, bouncy, light on the feet. Everybody remembers the head kick knockout he got Benson Henderson with. He obviously can wrestle. He had those fantastic fights with Paul Hughes, which he edged him out on the scorecards. I think the most interesting thing about this fight is the wrestling that we're going to have matched up, because Archie Colgan is, without a doubt, the best wrestler Usman's ever faced. And I think the same goes for the other way. Usman's probably the best wrestler that Colgan's ever faced. Colgan's coming off of a win, beat Mansour Barnoui. Was really, really good off his back, but at the end of the day, not much of a threat on top or to defend takedowns. This is one of those fights, that's like one of the top fights you can find outside the UFC. I expect to probably go the distance. Both these guys are tough. Both these guys are gritty, have great cardio. But yeah, really, really good fight. And this is the last fight on Usman's PFL deal, which means he might be headed to the UFC after this one, which would be an interesting development. Excuse me, yerba mate. Next fight down the card, which this is kind of the main one a lot of people are looking forward to. We have dangerous Dakota Ditcheva fighting Miss Dynamite Denise Kielholtz. Denise Kielholtz, she's been around for a long time. Fought for Bellator, a long kickboxing career. Really, solid women's fighter. Good striking, good fundamentals. She does a lot of things really well, but at the same time, she's 37 years old. She weighed in at 123 pounds. She's fought at strawweight before, and she's going to be giving up a 6-inch height disadvantage and 4-inch reach disadvantage to Dakota Ditcheva, who not only is one of the best long fighters in the world, but also just one of the best female fighters, period, if not the best. I rave about it, but her clinch game is just unbelievable. Nobody knows the Muay Thai clinch like she does. The way she off balances, throws knees, throws elbows, pushes off, strikes again, grabs the clinch. It's really beautiful. Her work from the double collar tie is, man or woman, some of the best I've ever seen in MMA. She's going to buzz through Denise, man. She's going to have a huge size advantage, age advantage, athleticism. It's unfortunate they can't find better fights for her, but this is the point that I kind of mentioned with the Phil Davis thing. This is the reason why he's suing the UFC, because when they control the talent, the best fighters who are not in the UFC have to face worse competition. So therefore, it's lowering their value because they can't prove that they're one of the best in the world by fighting the other highest ranked fighters. So I'm going to go Dakota by round 1 KO. She's going to, like I said, she's going to buzzsaw through this. Next up, we got Amru Magomedov taking on Angel Alvarez or Angel Alvarez. Angel Alvarez coming off of a win over Bryce Logan, decision. Bryce Logan's my guy. He actually wrapped one of those hand wraps up there, actually from him wrapped in my hands. We go back. Great dude. Got to fight in South Dakota for one more time. Unfortunately, got fed a prospect and lost the decision. Alvarez's boxing, his wrestling all looked very good in that. Former CFFC champion, I believe. Yeah. Taking on Amru Magomedov. Again, another one of these Dagestani fighters coming from Khabib camp, undefeated. Took him, I think, less than a minute to get rid of Colton England in his last fight. Real dangerous guy, really dangerous. Definitely not one of your traditional Dagestanis. Not even traditional. I hate saying that. Excuse me. Not like fighters like Nurul Aliyev, who will not do damage. This guy gets on top and he rains ground and pound. He looks for finishes. Really exciting fighter. I like Amru, but I'm gonna go with Amru by TKO, ground and pound. I think he's gonna get on top and do some damage to Angel Alvarez here. Next down the card, another just fantastic wrestler versus wrestler matchup. We have Raufeon Stots, longtime Bellator staple, really one of the best fighters in Bellator history, taking on the semi-newcomer Lazaro Dayron. Lazaro he's scary, man. When he fought Bryce Meredith in his last one, he had some of the best hips I've ever seen from a fighter. I mean, sprawls, getting his hips back, shooting, like everything is just so smooth and explosive for him. He was on the Cuban national wrestling team. He extremely high pedigree in wrestling. And again, like I said, Raufeon Stots, a former collegiate wrestler as well himself. He's kind of cut his teeth being that dominating, forward-moving, kind of get on top kind of guy. He had some great fights with Danny Sabatello, who's obviously having a lot of success over in Horizon now. Just defended his belt a couple weeks ago. But again, similar to the Dakota versus Denise fight, I think the athleticism and the punching power are really gonna sway things in Lazaro's way here. He's got some serious pop. He's so compact and athletic, and I think Raufeon Stots, like, speed and striking has never been his forte, and because both these guys are such high-level wrestlers, I think this fight's going to end up taking place in the feet. And Lazaro Dayron, his overhand, his pressure, his level changes are all really, really elite, and I think he's going to end up taking this one probably by decision. Couldn't get Bryce Meredith out of there. Raufeon Stots is very tough as well, but I see him kind of 29-28, maybe 30-27 decision. Next down the card, we got Montana De La Rosa taking on Tatiana Postarnakova. Montana De La Rosa, she was in the UFC for a long time. Mixed results. Ended up parting ways, and is now fighting for the PFL. She's a very, meat and potatoes type of fighter. Nothing too crazy. On the other side, though, Tatiana Postarnakova, she was one of these Russian signings. She took on Loredana in her PFL debut back earlier this year. Looked fantastic. Loredana, she was coming in with some good hype herself, and Postarnakova, she put it on her. Good striking, is able to keep the fight where she wants it, and I think, again, let's look at the reach and the height. We have no reach for Postarnakova, unfortunately, but it looks like they're about the same height. So again, I think just her smooth movement, her strikes, I think that's going to get her the advantage here. I'm going to go with Postarnakova by decision. This is a fight that's kind of hiding down here on the prelims. Sean Gauci, one of if not the best, 125, 135 prospects out of Australia, New Zealand, taking on Allan Mini Begosso, which Allan Begosso is a guy I've been following for a very long time. He actually fought on one of the first ever cards I went to for LFA. And he's sick, man. Spinning elbows, nasty explosive strikes, has the propensity to get held down a little bit and be a little inactive during his fights. He took his most recent fight on super short notice against Jake Hadley. Sorry. Lost that one by decision, but dropped him. Really close fight. Could have maybe even been a draw, depending on how you might have scored that, but really, really good fighter. This fight's probably one of my favorite fights in the card. Sean Gauci, great striker, great wrestling. Begosso, again, he's best up close where he can land his elbows. He can get nasty and dirty with it. So I think Gauci might have the skill advantage, but at the end of the day, Begosso is dangerous, and I could easily see him cutting Gauci early and kind of turning the tides like that. Next fight, we have Chamy Delva, which, wow, I've actually never even heard of this guy before. 37 years old, coming in and fighting Levan Khaballaev. Looks like he's got some experience fighting for Combat Night Duval. Oh yeah, Combat Night down in Florida. Okay, so not the highest level of promotion, but he's taken on Levan Khaballaev, which this guy is interesting. He was actually scheduled to fight my coach, Cedric Katambwa. Going to be honest, I love you, Cedric, but I hated that fight because Levan is one of the most dangerous strikers I've maybe ever seen. It's a Russian who's just, absolutely, I can't even describe it. Go watch some videos of him hitting pads. Go watch a couple videos of him fighting. This guy is so heavy-handed, so fast, so explosive. Trained out of Serra-Longo in New York. He was, like I said, fighting for LFA before. Had a couple bouts canceled, and now he got the call to the PFL. And I'm worried for Delva. At 37 years old, facing a guy like this is going to be a highlight KO. So if you tune in for any fight to see just a sick knockout, I would check out Levan Khaballaev. Round 1 or 2 finish, I'm calling it. And then kicking off the card, because we did have some canceled bouts for this event, we have Jonathan the Warhawk Piersma coming off of his LFA welterweight title win, taking on Omar Defrawy, one of the better, fighters coming out of Egypt. It's a good one, man. Defrawy, he's going to try to strike a little bit more. Piersma, solid wrestler, really wants to get tight, stay attached, decent ground and pound, decent submissions. I'm going to go with Piersma here. I think his experience at a higher level, he's fought, kind of all over the United States, CFFC, LFA. He fought for Cage Titans a good amount. So he's a good fighter. I'm glad he's finally getting his opportunity. And yeah, I'm going to go with him by submission over Defrawy. And as you can see here at the bottom, a lot of canceled bouts. Really disappointed about this one. Mustafa Diakite. I did see, I think Daryl Walker is stepping in to face Zach Nishimwe because Diakite was not cleared. So that's another fight that got added. Don't know much about Daryl Walker, but he did beat AJ Hodgkins, former NFL player, in his last bout by highlight reel KO. So going to be a good one there. But yeah, that's the PFL card this week. Tune in Friday night. We're if you have ESPN, you can watch there. But I am always going to recommend, if you get a VPN, any VPNs out there want to sponsor me, I am open for business. But get a VPN, send yourself to England, and you get all PFL events for free on YouTube. Same with LFA. So little DSK hack right there just to make sure you get the fights. But that is the PFL card. But coming up as well this week, we have UFC Serbia Belgrade. We have Uros Medic taking on Daniel D-Rod Rodriguez. Daniel Rodriguez coming off that stint in prison in Mexico, which is one of the kind of crazier stories in all of mixed martial arts. But we are going to get right into it. We're actually going to start at the bottom for this one and work our way up. Oh, excuse me. So first of all, I just want to say I'm really excited for this card. This card has some of the best European prospects and talent that I've seen coming out in a long time. A lot of short notice fights, but they did a really, really good job getting good, solid fighters for these short notice fights. Yeah, it's going to be a really, really good card. Starting off, first fight of the night, we have Marina Spasic taking on Stephanie Luciano. Marina Spasic making her debut, coming from FNC over in the Balkan region, taking on, like I said, Stephanie Luciano. Luciano actually having some success in the UFC. She defeated Ravena Oliveira by rear naked choke in the third round her last time out. Shows some solid wrestling, solid top pressure. And Marina Spasic, she's coming in with 6 TKO wins in her career. Really, really solid striker, has a background in K1 kickboxing. Has since moved to MMA, built a 7-1 record. This is going to be an okay fight. I'm a little worried about Spasic's takedown defense. She's stands very tall up and is not really too aware of what's coming back at her in terms of grappling attempts in particular. I think that if she can get Luciano on the back foot and start making her panic shoot, I think she could hurt her real bad and make this an ugly fight for Rodinha. But the number one thing I saw is how available her hips are moving forward. So if Luciano can get her to strike with her and then just duck onto the hips, I think there's going to be some problems here. We really haven't seen Spasic's ground game tested very much so far. So, I mean, she's the number 1 pound-for-pound female in the Balkan region on Tapology. So clearly, I mean, she's got a lot of talent, got some good pop in her hands, good kicks, but this is a definite step up and not the best stylistic matchup for her. I'm going to go with Luciano by late sub or decision. Again, she popped a round 3 sub last time. That was, a really, really good performance. I think that she has the cardio and ability to get a sub late, and she's also going to have the size advantage here. So again, if she can get this to the ground, use some judo, get under the hips during a striking exchange, I think she's going to have some success here. But I'm still excited for Spasic. I just think this is not a great matchup for her in her first UFC fight. Next up the card, this is a big one for me. Alexander Popek, Ironside, taking on Jovan Leka, excuse me. Another short notice fight, Alexander Popek. I'm very, very familiar with him from his days with Octagon MMA. Put together a stellar record of 7-2-1 with Octagon, fighting primarily in the light heavyweight division. He has now taken this fight on short notice at heavyweight. Going to be obviously challenge size-wise. He'll be given up. I expect him to weigh in probably about 230, 235. And, Popek, he's a striker. For those who remember, he did fight Jamal Hill on the Contender Series in 2019, which didn't go his way. Got ground and pounded from the mount. But since then, he's put together a 12-2-1 record across Europe. Like I said, mostly fighting for Octagon MMA, putting together just some really solid performances. Beat Tomasz Narkun last time out, who he's a bit washed, if we're being completely honest. I love Narkun. KSW, great, Polish legend, but Popek kind of handled him, didn't really move it up into the next gear at any point, just kind of, I wouldn't say outpointed him, but just outstruck him solidly on the feet. And for Jovan Leka, he faced, what's the guy's name? Some Russian on the Contender Series. That fight sucked. So got taken down, got kind of controlled in the first round, ended up turning it around. Couldn't get the finish in that fight, but his opponent gassed like ridiculously hard, like truly just shocking stuff. Didn't get the contract, but at just 24 years old, he was told, hey, you're going to be around, like stay ready. And I mean, he's got a fantastic record, 13-2 at 24 years old as a heavyweight, 6'5", 79-inch reach. I mean, this guy is kind of everything you want in a heavyweight. When I saw that he got signed officially, I was very, very excited because, as we all know, heavyweight division needs life desperately. Shout out Rizvan Kuniev and Tyrell Fortune last weekend for putting on an absolute barn burner. We need more of that, though. So I'm going to go with Leka here. He has the ability to work his own grappling. He's going to be much, much bigger, much, much stronger, taller. Unless Popek can land a big shot early, I really favor Leka in just about every avenue of this fight. Cardio, wrestling, grappling. He has a beautiful arm triangle choke. He hit a couple fights ago. He's one of those complete prospects. I think he's got a lot of potential at heavyweight, and I'm going to keep him circled as one of those guys to keep an eye on. So I'm going to go with Leka by second round submission. I think Popek might hurt him in the first, might get some stuff going, but I think up a weight class, it's going to be a bit too much. Very excited to see Popek back at his natural weight class at 205, but obviously this was his ticket into the promotion, so you gotta take what you can get. Moving up the card, we have Nina Milosevic, Queen Beast, taking on Haley All Hail Cowan. This is somewhat of a mismatch. Milosevic obviously making her UFC debut, but she's really solid. One of the best European women's bantamweights out there. Taking on Haley Cowan, who's 0-3 in the UFC. Former Baylor gymnastics athlete. Really just, athleticism got her through the first part of her career, and since then there just really hasn't been much carrying her through. Not that this, I would be remiss to not bring this up. Haley Cowan's coach is a sexual predator. He has accusations of some horrible stuff that you guys can look into. Unfortunately, Haley Cowan knew and didn't do anything or say anything. So I definitely have some tough feelings towards her and her team. Some pretty inexcusable shit, in my humble opinion. I think Nina Milosevic is going to come in and beat the brakes off of her. The biggest downside to Nina is she has zero head movement. Her head is on the center line all the time. But I just don't think Cowan has anything to come back that's really going to hurt her. I mean, Milosevic has fought some solid competition in the regional scene, primarily for Brave Combat Federation. She also put together a really unique training camp. Coach Subotic, forgive me for not remembering his first name, but he's got a tremendous Instagram. He actually put together a mountain retreat training camp, which they brought in a bunch of really high-level female fighters from around Europe to train with her for this fight. Ended up finishing the camp in Belgrade, Serbia. So she's doing some good stuff. And I think she's going to come in. She's good on the ground. She's good on the feet. She's got power. She really looks at that right hand counter a lot. So expect for her to kind of wait for Haley to stick out that jab, cross over the top, hit her with the right hand, maybe drop her, maybe find a sub. But I think that Milosevic is gonna do some good work here. Next up, we have Kyle Prepelet versus Mateusz Rąbecki. Rombetsky, man, what a weird UFC career. Coming in at 1-4 in the promotion. Obviously had that barn burner with Miktabek Oralbai that he won after he shattered Miktabek's eye socket. He's had a couple rough ones, got subbed by Grant Dawson last time out. And Kyle Prepolek, he is a guy who fought in the UFC a long time ago, got cut, went back to the regional scene, got signed short notice to fight BSD. And that was not a great matchup for him. He looked better than a lot of people expected. BSD looked a little slow and lethargic that fight. Ended up getting the submission second round. So Prepolek, definitely no spring chicken. He's been around for a lot. He is about to turn 37. He's going to have a big size advantage here. Rombetsky is just a short, stout guy. A lot of overhands, a lot of just gritty forward pressure. He does not fear eating damage in the slightest. But again, I think I'm going to go with Rombetsky here. I think they're trying to get him a win. He's an exciting fighter. Gets a lot of bonuses. They want to keep him on the roster. And Prepolek, man, like I said, I just don't think he's at that UFC level, unfortunately. You never know. If he drags the gas tank, racks up some damage early, I think he might be able to pull it out. But I'm gonna lean Rombetsky by knockout here, or maybe even decision. But yeah, we shall see. Next up, the card. Bogdan Grad versus Denis Bazooka. Yeah, both these guys really not a lot of success in the UFC. Bogdan Grad coming off that loss to Luke Riley. Bazooka coming off of that loss to that was a brutal knockout. What was that? Was that Myron Santos? Oh no, Marcio Barbosa, excuse me. Yeah, one of the nastiest. One of the nastiest knockouts we've seen all year. What the hell's going on with my goddamn thing? What the hell? Okay, excuse me about that, guys. I'm just gonna edit that part out. Cool. Excuse me, but okay, sorry, I had some camera stuff right there. But yeah, man, this fight, probably gonna bang it out. I'm gonna go with Grad by KO. Bazooka is just, again, not quite that UFC level. He's coming back pretty quick after getting just absolutely slept. Next fight up the card, we have an absolute banger here. Mark Vologdin taking on Borislav Nikolic. Borislav coming off a just really dominant regional career. Fought all over the Balkans, FNC, Brave Combat Federation. He's coming in with almost equal knockouts and submissions. I believe 6 knockouts, 7 submissions or 8 submissions. Taking this fight on short notice, but I mean, he's going to have such a huge height advantage here. I mean, 5'9" versus 5'3". They don't have his reach listed, but I guarantee it's going to be at least 6 inches larger than Vologdin. And Vologdin, it's tough because he's such a good striker. He's got great wheel kicks, great spins, good, toughness, loves to stay in the pocket, but he's so small. Like, he should be a flyweight, but he's just too stout to be a flyweight, too big to cut to that weight. So I'm going to go with Borislav here. Like I said, really well-rounded, long, good striker. He can do it on the ground. He can do it on the feet. I think he's a tough matchup for Vologdin here. So debutant Serbian getting another victory here. This is a fight I'm really excited for as well. We have next up we have Michael PQD Oliveira taking on Oban the Welsh gangster Elliott. Oban Elliott started his career off with a lot of hype, had that knockout over Basel Hafez, which looked really good, and he's dropped a couple in a row. Sukhyun Ko, I believe, was one of them, and then lost that one to Jonathan Mikhaev as well. I believe he hurt his eye, which led to the sub. So again, not like it was not a fair shot, but sometimes you get hit, you lose your vision, you can't see, you got to defend the sub, and it just doesn't work. So Oban Elliott, he's solid, good striker, good power, but definitely lacking a bit in the ground game and the defensive wrestling. And on the other side, PQD Oliveira, this guy, former Brazilian Special Forces soldier, so call him the Brazilian BSD, maybe. I don't know. He's a paratrooper, actually. But, I mean, just a physical specimen. I mean, this guy is as physically imposing as they get. Absolutely jacked, long reach, good long strikes. His 1-2, his long punches are just deadly. I mean, he was just holding dudes for LFA. I mean, just consistently just putting dudes out. So took him a while to get this debut. It was like him, Chonko, and Louis Jordan. They all got fights recently now, but they were all guys in last season, the Contender Series, who I was really impressed with. And I was like, why is it taking so long for them to get their debut? But as I said, finally we get it. I am going to go with Oban Elliott here, though. I think the experience, I think the time off, I think the kind of back against the wall situation that Oban is in, he's kind of got to win here, or else he's going to be 3-3 in the UFC. Not really, something. They've cut Welsh fighters pretty quick before. Corey McKenna, they didn't really care too much for Jack Shore, so I think Oban Elliott's going to get it done here. Let's go with decision. I think he's just going to outdog Oliveira in this one, despite the physical advantages that Oliveira has. Next up, another one of my Octagon boys, Ludovic, Mr. Highlight Klein, taking on Taufik Musayev. This is going to be fight of the night right here, I think. This is just really high-level stuff. Drop my phone. Ludovic Klein coming off that really kind of sketchy win where he hurt himself late. Was able to fight through, get the decision regardless. But, I mean, this guy's a fantastic fighter. Really great long front kicks, snap kicks to the body, good 1-2s. You want to go watch him just kick the shit out of a Nazi. Him versus AJ Cunningham is one of my favorite fights. Yeah, he's taking on Bellator and Ryzen veteran Taufik Musayev. He's coming off that cheating-ass performance against Ignacio Bahamondes, which, I mean, they both fought well. They did damage, but he definitely, grabbed the fence pretty fucking bad in that first round and definitely swayed the potential results of that. Prior to that, he got subbed by Oralby. Like I said, had some good success in Bellator. Fought for Ryzen, had some sick knockouts over there. But, again, just a bouncy, explosive striker. We haven't seen his cardio too much in obviously he fought through those last couple of rounds, but he had Bahamondes so damaged it was just a bloody mess. So interested to see how those front kicks from the body from Klein are going to affect him. I think if Klein gets on the front foot here, as long as he plays it safe, he should have the advantages. But Tafik's a dangerous striker. I think if he catches on the counter, starts working leg kicks, perhaps, I think he can do some good work. But crazy. Klein has a 3.5-inch reach advantage despite being 2 inches shorter. It's interesting. Another just banger fight on this card. We have Milos Janicic taking on Noah Gugnon. Janicic, he is probably the best Montenegrin fighter in the world, if we're being completely honest. He is 19-3. He's fought for FNC, again, the largest promotion over in the Balkans. He actually had some good fights for Dirty Boxing as well here in the United States. I mean, this dude is sick. I mean, elite striker, great wrestler. He's just does not go the distance. Let me fact check. He's got 16 finishes in 19 fights or something like that. Let me see. Oh, excuse me. He has 19 finishes in 19 fights. Only 2 losses are by decision. And he fought for Octagon as well. Throwback. That was a little bit before I got really into it, but yeah, I mean, this guy's been all over Europe. Lost some tough guys, but at the end of the day, I mean, this guy's one of the sickest prospects you could find. He's taking on Noah Gugnon, who, again, another solid French guy. I think this might be a little too early for him. He's 25. Definitely got some good experience fighting, cutting his teeth in the regional scene over there. Hexagon MMA, Ares FC. Yeah, I think Janicic is going to put it on him. Noah Gugnon, I was watching his old fight with Mark Ewan for Bellator, and he's a little too comfortable just standing in front of his opponent. And I think that leaving his head on the center line, especially with the boxing of Janicic, is going to be a bad move. So I think Janicic knocks him out here. Gugnon, again, I think he's got some potential, but he kind of reminds me of a lightweight Kevin Jousset a little bit, and he kind of got his ass beat in the UFC. So yeah, Janicic, I'm going to go round 2 KO for him there. Really, really good fight. Next up, holy squash match. Another one of my Octagon boys, Vlasto El Chapo Chepo, taking on Gilbert, the Rio Grande Valley bad boy, RGV bad boy. One of the, man, the Urbina family just cracks me up, dude. I feel bad because they are like, all of them have been in the Ultimate Fighter Contender Series, the UFC. What they like, all three brothers have experienced something of Zuffa or Endeavor, and all of them have just got absolutely mauled, man. I mean, these are just some tough Southern Texas boys. They can scrap. They like to scrap. I mean, again, no disrespect to them, but sheesh, it's been rough. He actually got knocked out by Uros Medic last time out, and now he's moving up to 185 to take on Vlasto El Chapo Chepo. Just a marauder. Not the best footwork, not the best tacticality when he's fighting, but Vlasto is like I said, an absolute marauder, buzzsaw. 10 wins by knockout, 4 by sub. Just moves forward, looks for bombs. He's going to be a fan favorite. He's kind of like a middleweight Tommy McMillan, to be honest, without the wrestling. It's going to be a fun one. I think he puts out Urbina bad here, like first round. He's going to go after him. He's Slovak, Serbian, so he's got roots in this region. It's going to be a home game for him. They're setting him up well. This is going to be a bad night for Urbina. But getting into, I guess, the meat of the card, this is where it starts getting a little rough here for a couple of fights. Dusko Todorovic taking on Robert the Nazi Valentin. This guy's one of the most racist piece of shits in the UFC. I hate him. He sucks. It's a shame he won his last fight, but it's how it goes, man. Not all fighters are great people. Anthony Smith, holy shit. Dusko Todorovic, he's kind of been a staple in the middleweight division, kind of like a Dustin Stoltzfus type guy. Just, he's fine. He's fine. Okay clinch game. He's got some good elbows. Choked out Jose Medina in his last one, but lost to Zach Reese before that. And if you can't hurt Zach Reese, I don't really know who you can hurt. So I don't know, man. I'm gonna go with Todorovic. The fact that it's a home game for him, he's fighting in Serbia. I think Robert Valentin is really bad. Just not a good fighter, to be honest. And I think Todorovic has enough high level experience that he can get past him. But next up, Marcin Tybura, still doing the thing. Mad respect to all my Polish brothers out there. I know we got a lot of them, but he's taking on the newly heavyweight Alexander Rakic, which, wow, 73 strength of schedule. That's pretty impressive. Rakic coming off that TKO loss to he lost that decision, right? That snooze fest. Was it to Ankalaev? No, Mirzakhanov. Oh, excuse me. Okay, sorry. Lost to Yuri, lost a decision to Ankalaev, and then got jabbed to death by Mirzakhanov. Rough go for Rakic. So moving up, hoping he can kind of reignite some of that success. He's taking on Tybura, which Tybura faced my teammate Tyrell Fortune in his last fight, and that was like, Tybura looked so slow, so shit. He does not have any power anymore. He doesn't have timing. He's okay on the ground, but if Rakic has anything left in the tank, he should KO Tybura here, or at least beat him by decision, because he's kind of a decisionator. But yeah, man. Tybura still collecting those 100K paychecks. Shouts to him. He's got a good deal from the UFC. He had an opportunity to go to KSW, chose not to, stayed at the UFC. So he'll keep getting paid as long as he can. But co-main event, we got Jan Blachowicz taking on Navajo Sterling. This was originally supposed to be Guskov versus Blachowicz, but obviously Guskov called in to face Ankalaev in that main event last weekend, which was terrible. If you guys watch my recap video, y'all know my feelings on that. But this is a really interesting one, man. Navajo Sterling taking the fight on, I think, a little less than 2 weeks' notice. Really talented young guy coming out of City Kickboxing, good striker. He's shown some good, good, capable grappling. Coming off of a TKO win over Ion Kutilaba in his last one just a couple months ago. And Blachowicz, again, he's coming off that draw with Guskov in December. I was actually in the arena for that fight. He's just a shell of himself, man. He's still got, still can wrestle, still got a little power, but it's not looking great for Jan. I think this might be, if he could retire in Europe, he's 43 years old. This guy is old, man, old. And he, I think if he can retire in Europe, that would be cool. But I'm going to go with Navajo Sterling by decision here. I think Jan's tough enough to not get finished, but I just don't see an area in which he's going to out or really, really beat Sterling unless he can just take him down and hold him down for 3 rounds, which is unlikely. Yeah, so main event, the big welterweight matchup, Uros, the Dr. Medic, taking on Daniel D-Rod Rodriguez. Uros Medic, ever since that loss to Oralby has kind of dominated a lot of guys in this card. Or at least fought a lot of guys. God, kind of got his ass whipped by Rubetsky. But Uros Medic, man, coming in on a hot streak. I think he has one of the longest knockout streaks in the UFC right now. I think he's coming off, 4 in a row? 3 in a row, excuse me. He did get knocked out by Punahele Soriano, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, man, Gilbert Urbina, Muslim Salikov, Jeff Neal, some solid competition. Now he's fighting Daniel Rodriguez. For those who don't know, Daniel Rodriguez spent most of the last year in a Mexican prison. Still don't know the exact details behind that, but he got arrested traveling down to Mexico and actually couldn't get out. Finally free, got booked almost immediately when he got out. He's talked about it a little bit on some interviews and stuff. And it was just on, I think it was Ariel the other day talking about it. But yeah, man, D-Rod, he's on a win streak too. Both these guys are their win streaks aren't that impressive when you actually break down the names. I mean, D-Rod, he had that good fight with Kevin Holland before he went to jail. But, Alex Morono, no longer in the UFC, absolutely washed. Santiago Ponzinibbio, absolutely washed. We just saw him get knocked out by Sam Patterson. And then Kevin Holland, which he just caught Kevin a couple times. I mean, Kevin really didn't look that good in that fight. And now he's taking on Uros Medic. I think Medic is going to get it done here, man. I think his explosiveness, his power, I think he's really found his groove moving up to welterweight as well. A lot of his losses were at lightweight. Obviously not the Punahele Soriano, but that guy's a middleweight as well. I mean, he's fought at middleweight. So, again, Uros Medic, really bouncy, really explosive, long striker. I think he's going to catch Daniel early, but again, all of Uros's wins come in the first round. So if this thing starts to go out of the first, I mean, especially it's a 5-round fight, if D-Rod can stay safe, I think he's going to have the advantage the longer this fight goes. He's got a good jab, good fundamental boxing. He stays relatively safe, but Uros is he just creates chaos in there. So I could very well see him catching D-Rod early. We've seen D-Rod get hurt multiple times. Yeah, so I'm going to go with Uros Medic by round 1 KO. That is UFC Serbia. Pretty decent card. I'm excited. 14 fights. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. If you guys are interested, the real good card of the weekend, as I mentioned before, Octagon 92. Go check out my preview for that. Drop a like, drop a subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this MVP PFL merger. Good for the sport, bad for the sport. Who comes out on the best of it, all that good stuff. But anyways, like I said, appreciate you guys as always. Let me know your picks and thoughts about this card or these cards, and I will see you in the next couple days for another one. Peace.